over the last few years, print on demand as a business model has grown at an insane rate. And according to some studies, they are showing a multiple billion-dollar increase in the print on demand business as a whole over the next few years. It is no question why companies like Printful are now valued at $1 billion, receiving multi-million-dollar investments. Printify as well is continuing to grow, and overall people are beginning to realize that print on demand is a business model that is popular now and is going to be one that takes us into the future of e-commerce. In this video today, we're going to be diving deep into what this business model is and how you can get started. Whew, that was a lot. Hey Joe, it's Folks here. In this video today, we're going to be breaking down print on demand in depth. This video should help you to get started in the year 2023. First, we're going to cover what print on demand is and specifically how it works. We'll then dive in and talk a little bit about how much money you can actually make. We'll talk about which platforms you should be prioritizing with your store in the year 2023. We'll also jump in and talk about choosing some niches and picking out products to sell and even which suppliers you should be using. We'll talk about branding your store. I'll give you guys some examples of some awesome print-on-demand stores in the video today, and we will discuss some advertising strategies that you can use in terms of Facebook ads, influencer marketing, and organic through your own social media pages. If you are new to the channel, obviously check out some of my other videos, and if you want to go through some step-by-step training from me, make sure to check out my course. There is a link down in the description. Inside, you'll get access to over 30 step-by-step videos showing you the process to build out your print-on-demand store. The best part is, it is completely free, and like I said, there is a link down in the description. So what is print-on-demand? Sometimes people call it POD. It stands for print-on-demand. This is a business model where we are basically making a design and a supplier is printing that design onto a product. This is a product that we list for sale on our own store, and we do this by integrating our store with the supplier's app that they have developed for us to be able to integrate with them. When we make a sale, the supplier will print our design and mail it to the customer. This is an attractive business model for most people because we never actually have to order any inventory until we make a sale. When you do make a sale, your customer will pay you, and that money will route through your payment account and then into your bank account. You're also going to want to make sure that you have a separate payment method on file with the supplier that you are using, so that way you can pay for your item to be sent to your customer. One of the big questions that a lot of people jumping into print on demand often ask is, how much money can you actually make from your print on demand store? Is print on demand dead? Is something that a lot of people say, and my response is always the same. Print on demand is going to be what you make of it. Meaning, if you build yourself a great looking store and you offer awesome product, you're going to make sales. And if you don't, then unfortunately, you're not going to make sales. Now, me personally, I've been doing this full time for the last 2 years, and I've also been lucky enough to mentor lots of different people. So far, 2 of my students have crossed the $1 million mark, and I've also mentored hundreds of others that have been able to make a bunch of sales on their stores. I started something called the POD Ninjas Mug Club, and at this point, I have sent out about 100 of these mugs that you are seeing on the screen. Obviously, though, if you are watching this video, you are probably at the beginning, and what I think would be beneficial for you is to set yourself a really modest and achievable goal. Let me walk you through some math here. If you wanted to make $5,000 in profit per month, you could do it relatively simply with a high profit print-on-demand product. Now, assume that you are selling something that is making you about $20 in profit per sale. If you are someone who is planning to sell t-shirts or mugs, you're probably not going to really see that at all. You're probably going to see profit margins of a much smaller amount. And on my channel here, I try to show some really high profit print-on-demand products, so make sure to watch some of my other videos if you want to see some of the ones that I would recommend. If you were selling a product that was making you $20 per sale in profit, you would need to make 250 sales to hit your $5,000 profit goal. Now, keep in mind, I am well aware that there are lots of different things that could impact how much profit you are making, things such as a Shopify subscription or Etsy fees or design fees or different softwares that you're paying for. What I'm talking about in this video is just raw profit, your selling price minus your cost of goods sold. I know there will be people down in the comments that will ask questions about that, so I wanted to make it clear that I am just trying to give you an example here, and we're just keeping it simple with some raw numbers. If you divide those 250 sales by 31 days in a month, you're going to see that on average, you're going to need about 8 sales per day to make the $5,000 profit goal. If you want to set your sights just a little bit lower to keep things a little bit more realistic for you, if you just made 2 sales a day with this same math, you would make over $1,000 in profit per month. In short, what I'm trying to say to you is yes, print on demand is a profitable business model. However, of course, you need to make sure you are making a great looking store, that you're making products and designs that people actually want to pay for, and you market them well. If you do those three things, you're going to make sales on your store. If you're like most people, one of the biggest things you're going to have to decide when starting your store is where you are going to actually build it. We have the option to choose places like Shopify, Wix, WooCommerce, or even places like Etsy or Amazon. Basically, we have the option to either build our own store or to utilize a platform to upload our designs to. If you have watched my channel, you know that I have some pretty strong opinions on this, but first what I wanted to do is take you through what I view as the pros and cons to both options. I will then give you my recommendation, and then I will talk about how you can actually get started. When it comes to selling on a platform like Etsy, obviously there is a very low barrier to entry. You're basically just uploading your designs and taking advantage of the organic traffic that exists on the platform. When it comes to some cons of selling on a place like Etsy, it is oftentimes very, very saturated. What I mean by that is on Etsy, you will often see hundreds of thousands of other people that are trying to do the same thing as you. You can see this example here. There are over 300,000 people trying to sell shirts to teachers. In my opinion, in order to get any traction, that's going to be a lot of work. You're going to need to upload dozens and dozens of designs. And oftentimes, if you've talked to people, the fees on Etsy tend to eat up a lot of your profit. Another thing to consider is that when it comes to making sales, you're really just relying on other people searching for what it is you are selling. And to me, that's a con because print on demand is a business model that is about creating impulse purchases, selling people things for a niche and actually trying to get them to buy on an impulse rather than them actually going to search for it. Basically, what I'm saying to do as an alternative is to create yourself a store like this here. And if you wanted to sell to teachers, you totally could. This store here has an extensive line of shoes for teachers, and in a little bit, we'll talk about how to actually go about choosing products and some of the advantages to choosing more unique items like this. When it comes to the cons of selling on your own site, obviously there's going to be some sort of startup costs. Most of these places where you're actually building a store are going to have a monthly fee. One of the good things is that Shopify often runs tons of really cool promotions. Recently, they had one that was just $1 for the month to get started, which in my opinion is a no-brainer. Another con is that you're going to have to actually build a store. Obviously, if you're building your own site, you're going to have to build yourself a store, your homepage, your About Us page, your product pages, and ultimately, you're going to have to put in some work compared to a platform where you're just uploading designs as many times a day as possible. Another con is that you're going to have to drive your own traffic. A lot of people get scared of that. They think that it's going to be very difficult for them to get traffic to their store, and they would rather just take advantage of the organic traffic on a platform. For me, though, both of those things are actually one of the pros. I think it's awesome that we get to build our own store, and we get to make everything look exactly like we want it to. We don't have to conform to an Etsy platform or an Amazon platform and only be building their brand, essentially. We get to make our store look exactly like we want it to. Another pro of building your own site is that you get to drive your own traffic. A lot of people think that's a con, and that's why I listed it on the previous page. But to me, I think the fact that we get to drive our own traffic is awesome. I think it's great that as print-on-demand sellers, we can harness the power of social media to create raving fans to ultimately buy our products. And at the end of the video today, we're going to cover some of the best ways that you can actually drive traffic to your own store. Another major pro that a lot of people don't think of is that with your own site on a place like Shopify, you're actually going to have access to a lot more print-on-demand suppliers. If you're selling on a place like Amazon or Etsy or something else, you're just not going to have the same access. There are lots of print-on-demand suppliers that carry some amazing print-on-demand products, but the problem is a lot of them only integrate with a place like Shopify. In my opinion, if I was going to sell to people that love to travel, I would much rather create a store where I can build a really exclusive line of products and make my site look exactly like I want it to. And I could use the power of social media like this store is here to be able to create raving fans to ultimately come and buy my products. Achieving something like this is just not possible in a platform environment like Etsy or on Amazon. And like I said at the beginning of the video, if the idea of creating your own brand and your own site and your own space to actually sell your print-on-demand product sounds exciting to you, check out my course. There's a link down in the description. It's completely free. Inside, it's going to show you how to actually build out your store. One of the first things you're going to have to do, though, is choose a niche. Now, print on demand is a unique business model. We are not solving anybody's problems with our products. What I mean by that is if we take a look at a product like this has problem-solving ability. This is an adapter that plugs in to the ports on my computer here. And then what it allows me to do is insert a whole bunch of different cords, USBs, SD cords, and Thunderbolt cords as well. When I saw this product, I became interested in buying it because it solved a problem that I had. When we sell print-on-demand products, our products don't solve anybody's problem, which means we need to focus on our niche. A niche is a passionate group of people that share a common interest. We need to focus on making designs that represent specific niches. That way, when people see our stuff, they become interested in buying it. One of the biggest mistakes that I see people make is jumping into print on demand and creating just abstract designs with silly quotes on them or, random pictures of sunsets and things like that. What you need to do is actually focus on a specific niche. What I would advise you to do is perhaps try to make a list of a whole bunch of different activities or passions or hobbies or jobs that people have, and then sort of rank them in terms of which ones you think are going to be the most passionate, and then also which ones are the ones that you know the most about. So that way you can have the best chance of success with that niche. And then that is the one that you should start with. And ultimately, maybe you're going to try more than one. When it comes to choosing products, a lot of people that are jumping into print on demand are not thinking this through. What you want to do is choose a product that is going to actually create a desire in someone to make an impulse purchase. So many people jump into print on demand and immediately want to sell some of the most saturated products like t-shirts and mugs. In my opinion, in the year 2023 and beyond, selecting a t-shirt or a mug to sell on your print-on-demand store is probably one of the worst things that you could do. And the problem with it is that just so many other people are doing the same thing. Whatever niche you are thinking about trying, there's a good chance that there are hundreds of thousands of other people that are also selling t-shirts to that niche. And it would be much better if you differentiated yourself with a different product. My point is, again, with something like this, I typed in teacher t-shirts on Etsy. There's over 300,000 sellers here. There's a good chance if you experimented and tried typing in some other niches, you would see a lot of sellers here as well. In my opinion, a much better strategy would be to choose some other products like this here that could get your niche excited and ultimately get them to make an impulse purchase. Every time I talk about this here on the channel, there's always people down in the comments that say things like, well, Joe, maybe t-shirts didn't work for you, but for us, we can totally try, right? Or they will just get mad and they'll say something about me being stupid. And honestly, I don't really care. You can do what you want. When it comes to my print-on-demand journey, my first successful store ever was a t-shirt store. However, that was 6 years ago in the year 2017. And for the last few years, I have been able to crush it and make more money than I ever have in the past by switching to higher profit products. So if you want to sell t-shirts and mugs, be my guest. Myself and some of the people that I work with are going to make the switch, and we're going to sell some more unique products that make us 5 or even 10 times the profit of a t-shirt or a mug. One of the things that people often don't think about with some of these lower profit products as well is the fact that in order to make a decent profit, you're going to need a lot more customers. Remember earlier I talked about if you wanted to make $5,000 in profit per month, what you could do is you could sell a product that makes you $20 in profit per sale. And if you made 250 sales, you would make $5,000 in profit. If you wanted to do the same thing with t-shirts and you were only making $5 per sale, you're going to need to make a lot more than 250 sales. In fact, you're going to need to make 1,000 sales in order to make the same amount of profit. And what a lot of people don't think about is that you are now going to have 4 times the customers than me. You are going to have to deal with potentially 1,000 people to make the same amount of profit that I made with only 250 customers. So that is something to think about as well. When it comes to choosing products, some tips I would give you would be to make sure that you are choosing products that make you at least a $20 profit margin. I would then also advise you to think about who it is you are selling to. Think about your niche. Think about what type of person they are. Would they be someone that would want some sort of a home decor item to decorate their space in their house to reflect the niche that they like? Or should you choose a product that they can take out into public with them, something for the car, maybe something they can wear? Basically, what I'm telling you to do is to think strategically about the products that you're choosing and not just choose things because you want to sell them. them. Obviously, when it comes to print on demand, we're going to need designs. Now, there's lots of different software out there that you can use. You can use tons of different options. There are some that are free. There are some that are paid. You can see some of them on the screen right now. You can also use resources like Creative Fabrica, and you can even hire designers from a few different places as well. What I would recommend you to think about is, do you actually have the skill to make your own designs? If you don't, you should probably hire someone. I have some other videos here on the channel about that, and also in my course that is completely free. Down in the description, there is some info about hiring designers as well. Next, we're going to talk about print-on-demand suppliers. If you are starting a print-on-demand store, you're going to have to figure out who it is you want to use as a supplier. And there are so many to choose from. There is literally over 200 options for you when it comes to print-on-demand apps on the Shopify App Store. In fact, I had to check. You can see here that there is 410 different apps that come up when you search for print-on-demand. If you're feeling overwhelmed by this, make sure to check out some of my other videos. I do my best to show you some of the suppliers that I've personally had a lot of luck with. I recently made this video here where I showed you the top 8 print-on-demand suppliers for the year 2023. I also reviewed a bunch of product samples as well, so you can see the quality of them, so that way you can figure out for yourself which one you actually want to use. So now let's talk marketing. Let's pretend that you have a store built. You've done it. You've opened your shop. You've got your niches. You've chosen products. You've selected a supplier. You've made designs, and now you have a store, and it's time to bring your products to the world. One of the things that I would recommend you to do is pause and just sort of pat yourself on the back, because so many people become interested in print on demand and they never actually do anything. Obviously, if you're here watching this video and you've watched it this long, there's a good chance that you are just at the point where you haven't really done much, and I would encourage you to actually do something. But for a second, what I want you to do is pretend that you are at the point where your store is done. You are ready to begin marketing, and now we're going to talk about the 3 ways that I would recommend you to begin promoting your products. The first is to make sure that you are focusing heavily on organic marketing on your own social media pages. Here's an example. This is something I talk about a lot of times here on my channel in multiple videos, but this store here does a tremendous job at doing exactly what I tell people to do. You can see here on their Instagram account, all they're doing is posting a whole bunch of content that people in the niche would like, and then you'll see an entire row of merchandise that they are selling. Essentially what they have done is they've created a social media page where people on Instagram who are truck drivers are going to end up seeing their stuff because they're posting so much of it. They're going to say, hey, that's cool. I'm going to follow that account. And then what is going to happen is once they begin following the account, they're going to see items that the store is promoting as well. They have a link in the bio to their store. You can see they have over 200,000 followers, and there's a good chance they're making a decent amount of sales without having to do anything but post on their social media page. If you're new and you're just jumping into beginning to start to drive traffic to your store, doing just that is the thing that I would recommend you to start with. It is completely free to do it, and you can get a whole bunch of people from social media to come over and check out your store. Next up is influencer marketing. Basically, you finding someone on social media that has a following inside of your niche and getting them to promote your stuff. Influencer marketing is an awesome strategy. Check this out here. This page is a page about gardening. This guy here has a massive following in the gardening niche. And what does he have in his hand? He has a print-on-demand metal sign. If you read the caption here, he talks about how the company Mood & Co. right here is doing a contest, and he's promoting it on his social page to his followers. Basically, that store right here, Mood & Co., is the one that has contacted him and have set this up. They even sent him a sample to begin promoting the product to his audience. The third way that you should promote products is paid advertising. I think in most cases, people get a little bit nervous about paid advertising. They worry that Facebook ads or Instagram ads are dead, or that it's going to cost them too much money to actually pursue. If you want to see me make a video, a tutorial, if you will, on this subject, type tutorial in the comments below. in this video today, we're not going to be doing a complete crash course on Facebook advertising. I do have some other content here on the channel that you can go through, and also inside of my free course, there is some information to help you get started there as well. But these three things should make up your marketing mix on your site. You should have a healthy mix of all three of these. You shouldn't be putting all of your eggs into one of these baskets, because if you stop putting eggs in one of those baskets and you're not putting eggs in any other baskets, then you essentially don't have a business anymore. You want to make sure that you are utilizing all three of these ways to actually market your stuff. So hopefully at this point, this video was helpful. If you're watching the video this far, awesome job. If you're not subscribed, make sure to subscribe. I would love to share more about what I have learned about print on demand in the last 6 years or so, running my own sites and also working with others to help them with their stores as well. Let me know down in the comments if there's any other video subjects that you want me to cover. I've been sort of putting some different things together for the year 2023 to begin teaching a little bit more on YouTube. Most of my videos are normally about different products and suppliers that you can sell, but I want to start doing more strategy related things here in the future. And that's why in this video today, I did like a broad overview of like getting started with print on demand and just kind of giving you a lot of information at once in one video. But as we continue through the year, I will begin to get more narrow on some of these subjects. But hopefully you did enjoy this video. If you did, drop a like on it, and I will see you guys in the next one.